broke the story broke out not too long ago about Steve Ditko's estate is filing basically to terminate the Marvel copyrights of both Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. You saw maybe some of the comic book media, and normies they don't care for that shit. It doesn't mean anything to them. But for a guy that, if you cared at any point in time about either of those characters, this could be huge. This could be huge. Let's read it. I'm gonna cover it. Read it from what Bounty in the Comics had to say about it, and then I'm gonna tell you my thoughts. According to two respective notices of termination filed with the United States Copyright of a Copyright Office on August 26th, and brought to widespread attention by Marvel artist J.L. Mass, Millennium Infinite Comic, Thanos, a guide up there, list, blah, blah, blah. Patrick S. Ditko, the brother of Ditko and the current administrator of the late artist's estate, is seeking to revoke Marvel's copyright over both the Amazing Fantasy Volume 1, which is, of course, Spider-Man's first depiction, and his first appearance. And the same thing for Strange Tales Volume 1, and that's issue 110, which is the debut of Doctor Strange. So we're dealing with two, one obviously being probably the most notable superhero of all time. He's up there with Batman and Superman, arguably Marvel's most notable hero. And Doctor Strange, who, of course, in recent years, because of the movies, has become more prominent. If successful, and this is the important thing, Patrick Ditko's termination of Marvel's copyrights would not necessarily require the publisher to stop publishing comics featuring the characters, as they would still retain their trademarks over them, but could see them barred from using any of the elements featured in those two stories. And this is why I don't like IP law. Now, again, you kind of got to remove the libertarian stuff here. I'm not going to sit up here and talk again about intellectual property and all that shit in my position. Go look at my old videos on that. Let's talk about it in the context of what we're dealing with here. So like they mentioned, certain items that were associated with those two depictions, those first depictions, they couldn't use it. So Spider-Man using web shooters, of course, the Amulet of Agamotto, Aunt May, Uncle Ben, Wong, and the Ancient One, and even both heroes' costumes could not be used by Marvel in any comic, film, or other media. That's if it was successful. The logistics of copyright termination law are, to say the least, complicated, and again, that's why I'm talking about with like IP law. I've been there. It's a fucking mess, dude. It's a goddamn mess. And the basic rule for works created assigned to prior to 1978 is that termination can be effective anytime within a 5-year window that opens exactly 56 years from the date copyright was originally secured. The pair explains. So basically what's going to have to happen, or what potentially could happen, I'm not going to bore you with all the like legal shit, is that basically everything that's associated with that first book regarding that character, they would be barred from using. And I think it will go into even more detail, because you got to understand, when you're talking about copyright, even necessarily something that isn't a direct copy of it, but is like an extension of it, that sort of stuff becomes under question as well. Definitely if something is upheld in court. So the precedent would be there. Now, I will say this. Marvel not being able to use Spider-Man in this day and age in some capacity, even if it's in any fucking capacity, is a fantastic thing. I talked about this with the Sony situation. Because it ain't like, what the fuck they gonna do with it? What are they doing with him now? It ain't like they ain't gonna run him into the ground. They're doing it now. The depictions that we see are weird. Iron Boy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've said this and I've made this claim about DC and Marvel. What a wonder it would be if people that had any sort of passion within either of those properties were actually in control of them. Now, that may happen sooner than later because at this route, other than movies and shit, they ain't making no money. Not from the comic books. Merchandise and movie, that's how they make money. But for the comics, them shits is dead. But that's the problem, right? You have, it's mega corporate. So everything that they look at, it cares nothing about these characters. It's all about headlines. It's all about how much merchandise they can sell and how much movie tickets they can sell. Which, again, that's not going to last forever, by the way. So as far as I'm concerned, less Marvel usage of Spider-Man, as far as I'm concerned, anything they come out with right now isn't canon anyway, would be preferable. But yeah, IP laws are a goddamn mess. I just wanted to update you guys with that information because it's something to keep an eye on in terms of what happens. But you got to understand, this is Spider-Man, and Disney is now in control of Marvel. So that damn mouse going to throw everything they can at it to make sure they maintain all copyright associated with this character. Doesn't mean they'll be successful.
You just watched a clip from our podcast, For Canon's Sake. Catch us live at 12 p.m. throughout the week over at youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and follow us over at odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. If you want to watch the entire video cast after the show is over, just be sure to become a member on the YouTube channel. Of course, the full audio portion of the podcast is available for free on all major digital platforms, or just visit forcanonsake.com.